this is Jen.
This is Matt.
We're playing Morty on the Move. And welcome to Morty on the Move. Let's get it started.
I'll hum some theme songs because we weren't smart enough to run the stereo. So
Wait, let me do the hair flip.
there we go. There we go.
Okay. Does my hair look okay?
And it shows
Looks
officially
fine.
Jennifer on the move tonight.
So, yeah, I'm going to officiate as Mark. I do have my pants on. Mark doesn't. So,
Yeah, that is a sad scenario, Mark. We're all praying for your butthole tonight, so we hope everything comes out okay for you.
yeah. So, we're all kind of playing. I was playing sick last week, you know. We're all doing the cover of, you know, getting it checked.
Yeah.
So, yes, go get yourself checked and make sure you're healthy.
Because as we get older, we got to start having things crawl inside us. It's good for our health.
We do.
So,
Thank you, Social Insanity, for the shirt and love it. Oh my gosh.
they were excellent last week. I'm glad they stopped by. I'm glad they stayed after the show. I learned a lot about their business. What a great bunch of fellas, and I wish them the best. So, and I was gone this weekend. You guys were out this weekend. Morty was out this weekend. Were they not?
We were at Tony and her birthday party.
Well, I want to hear about it.
At
So
Ross.
they want to hear about it
It was
because I missed
awesome.
it.
Asylum 9. Awesome band to see. If you look up Asylum 9, please do. Go and give them a like. You look up the epitome of a rock star chick, Asylum 9. Wow. The hair, the pants, everything. She fits it. And they know how to play their actual instruments. So, go look up Asylum 9. And Michael Morrow, however you pronounce it, and the culprits, they sang happy birthday to Lisa and to Tony. It was awesome. We had a great time. There was a lot of people there. And Fall from Silence, they're the first champions at Bratfest.
I saw that. I saw their page. I saw they did come out. And there was, you didn't know who was going to win, but Fall from Silence, they deserve it.
Congratulations to them.
Congratulations. And I didn't just take up your deal. Is that Asylum 9?
Yes.
Okay, I looked up Asylum 9 and whatever, exactly what she just said is correct, everybody. So I'm just
Man,
fact-checking
she
you
is
tonight.
cool to hang out with. And so is Michael. They were awesome all night long. The first band was awesome too. This guy is heavy duty tattooed, and you didn't think he was in the band. You think he was just there.
Kind of scary looking.
But yeah, he was.
He was kind of
kinda
scary looking. Yeah.
But he was got on the stage and just bam, knocked it out. So it was pretty awesome. It was fun.
Shane Bundy and Bo Jameson are in the house, guys.
Good evening, my
Hey.
man. Good evening. Now, that was at the Rocks, correct?
That was at Rocks.
Great venue. Had some good shows there. I wish that venue's going to keep
They got everything. Yeah, they're starting to get everything finished. Floors finished. Looking great.
And shows booked out for
Mark
quite a
says
while via
FFS.
So,
Yep, Fall from Silence. We already mentioned it, Mark. Thank you.
No, they were excellent. I wish I could have seen them. That's why I'm getting caught up here. So I saw excellent videos on Facebook though of it. So
They did great.
excellent. Plus another,
Every band did great.
good.
They really brought it. I mean, they did. And Bratfest, no, there's no brats there. Just to let you know.
There's not.
No, there's not.
No, maybe
It's
the
Brats
final-
Fest? I thought it was Brats Fest.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to
You're
see.
gonna have to bring your own. I'm just saying beforehand. And there's 3 other competitions. Next one's the 25th. So if you want them, there's tickets from any band member. Just get a hold of any band member.
And they're just $5 a piece, and you can just
Right.
get in there and vote for your favorite
They
band.
look like this.
Get a hold of Elevated Sickness. Josh and Alex, they're the ticket pimps.
Yep. And,
Elevated Sickness in this line.
and
I
Gravel's
mean,
running around.
Gravel's
selling,
running
I've seen
around.
lots of posts with them, so they're available. 7 Days has got them for theirs, and every
Right.
band's got them.
Speaking of gravel, Bo Jameson, that is one dedicated dude. Have you guys seen Gravel?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh man,
And
that
in fact,
guy. I happened to catch his show over at Sunshine, and he
I have
had
seen
been up.
more of Bo Jameson than most people have.
Right, he'd been up on a four show thing. He works for the city. He's taking all these tests. I mean, the guy is just like, he's going all the time.
He is very smart too.
Right.
So,
Very smart.
well, I'm
very.
excited to see their set of all original music. You know, I saw him one time up there at the Rocks. Had a wonderful evening for him. So I'm excited to see Gravel.
Yeah, they come out of Penrose. I think he lives in Penrose, and the rest of the band lives in Pueblo.
Right.
So they travel up here, every time they got a show.
Excellent. And another thing, last thing about Broadface, it's cool to have something cool going on in our town. I mean, these guys actually can win and go.
They go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, they go to actually Wisconsin and can
Right.
actually sit there and we can sit back here and be jealous and share their film and buy their shirts. So I'm excited for the band that wins this.
It is. It's awesome.
And I won't miss any more being out of town, I swear.
By the way, the guy talking behind the camera is super cool, guys. I'm
Super cool.
working the
So
camera
much
today.
out tonight.
He's helping out. He's the gaff. He's the technical foreman. He's the lighting manager.
He's kind of the everything right now. And
That's
Mark's, he's in his house. He's abroad. He's helping us. He's kind of doing his thing right now. But like I said, he is wearing no pants, so he's got to be in the house.
We'll keep you scoped.
We'll
of the
keep you
situation.
scoped and we'll keep
Scope
you.
you out.
We'll let you know how it goes.
I'm sure he's sitting on the couch scoping out the situation.
That's
He
it.
is. I'm
That's
sure
it.
he's probably sitting on his throne. So
Why do people sit on the toilet and go through Facebook? What is up with that?
Well, we used to read the back of shampoo bottles.
Right.
it got boring.
There's something about reading. I read many good novels in there, but Facebook's kind of
Just wash your hands,
Just
it's
one
just a
minute.
natural progression. So
right? Just wash your hands.
that's it.
Mark's on the shitter as we speak.
He's drinking that shit on the shitter.
It's good to know where our leader's at.
So
Right on. Right on.
we have some really awesome up and comings. Rox is doing something called the Jinx Band on Friday. I've never heard them. Have you heard them?
No, and I was going to ask you the same question. Is anybody, the Jinx could be a new band I could put on the 200 list I'm looking for?
Probably.
I've never heard him. I've never
Probably
heard him.
somewhere out of Denver, I'm sure.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm going to look them up after the show.
Dave the Bear, Friday, and he wears a bear suit, so go out and see that. I mean, who doesn't want to see somebody in a bear suit?
I saw
Fur pile.
band in animal suits. They
Right?
were awesome.
And
You
he's
know,
with
so-
JJ Murphy Trio,
Yeah.
and that's going to be at Mother Muffs on Friday.
Ooh.
So there you go. That's always a great menu. Always have fun, and the food's always great. Friday, we got Pretty Vague at the Good Company. We do have, I don't know if Alyssa Ruffkin is going to play. She did retire from 83. She made a post.
I saw it.
So good luck in all your adventures. Thank you for your wonderful music with 83. We appreciate it. So go and thank her. She is a beautiful singer. That was a great band. Another great band that is no longer, it's official, is Monsters of Maple Street. So if you got out to see them, great. If you wanted to look them up, great. It's awesome. They were a great band,
Were they?
but they are no longer.
Wow. But
So,
as a fan, I'll see them somewhere else. They'll pop up. Musicians never die. They
right?
just go back, regroup, get bored.
Right.
And
Something
then-
Matt
and then it's
Beecham,
time to create.
he's always great. He's always doing, some kind of something on Facebook, on YouTube. He's always great. I do have to say that. Something called Slimes. I
I
don't
saw
know
that.
if it's at Sunshine.
I don't know if that was
I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it. I don't know if he does slime you or if there is slime. That would be cool. I mean, that would be really cool. And that's Saturday the 19th. So,
I wish I knew what age appropriate would be out there. I have a feeling I'm going to feel very, very old going out to that show, but maybe not.
You never
Somebody
know.
let me know if I'm totally off base.
Right?
You know, so
And Saturday we have something called Tinker Dam. That's at Mother Muff. I haven't heard of them either.
oh,
So these are new bands coming in. We've got a lot of new bands coming in. A lot of bands coming down from Denver playing, which is good.
it's
We
good.
want that. We want that in our scene.
Mark says Matt Meacham has a project in progress right now.
Of
He-
course they
He
do.
always has something. He has a
Right.
great mind. He is a great musician, and he does some awesome things. He was there at Rocks and saw him. So yes, he's always got something. He's very creative.
Shout out to Bella Guerreri. Bella Guerreri's watching tonight.
Hello.
Well, good to see you.
Them Guerreri girls are awesome.
They're awesome.
Yes.
They're
Them girls, I mean, they're out at every
fans.
He Killed 3 show. Matter of fact, the girls helped me with a few of my events,
Yeah.
and they volunteered. I mean, they help park cars. Them ladies, if you need volunteers, them girls are awesome.
Well,
you know
and
what I mean?
on my side is as a newcomer into the scene, running into them too. You made me feel very welcome. I mean, the reason I'm sitting here is because the scene grabbed me so close and brought me in and hugged me and said hello and meant it,
Yep.
and I didn't forget it.
Did it wear a condom?
Huh? Only half the time, and that's why maybe I'm feeling.
We always
down.
safety
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm feeling down.
Yeah, there's the 3 of them.
So-
There's Bella, Kat, and Jody. And Jody's the mom, and the 2 girls, Bella and Kat. You know what I mean? But anytime you need something, man, them girls are always willing to volunteer. They run the merch for He Killed 3, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, in fact, I bought my shirt from them. So
Yes, you know the
good
girls.
to see you guys tonight.
Thank you.
Now, I have one more question before you go on, not to interrupt. Another name I've heard twice here tonight, Mother Mouse. Muffins or
Mother Mouse.
Mother Mouse. I've heard all your coming events for 5 weeks. Now they're playing back to back. They're starting to, I haven't heard Mother Mouse play Friday and Saturday night with new
They
bands.
do a lot, actually.
They do play a lot, but I haven't heard their name for a minute. And now tonight I've heard them twice, so it's like excellent. You're right. It's behind the scenes. Let's book every venue
Yeah.
we can get.
They do a lot.
Why don't we book this? The Denver will come down and play for this. We just can't pay much, and you know, but
And
no, you never know.
it's a nice homey venue. It's old Colorado City.
It
It's
is.
got that feel, and they do have great food. If you don't want to, they do have great karaoke too.
Nice.
If you just want to go there and do karaoke some nights, and it's fun. It's a fun venue.
Johnny
So-
Caballero says, "What's up in Wisconsin? Y'all rock." He says.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you,
You
Johnny.
too.
Thank you for the
Thank you
shower.
for the
We
shirt.
appreciate it.
And but yeah, it's a great venue if you've never been there. Another great venue, Oscars. They're coming up too with the Stray Sons CD release.
They're gonna have that at Oscars.
They are.
Really?
It's going to be Saturday.
Very interesting.
So I've been there. Great
I've been to
tacos.
Oscar.
Great
They got
tacos.
lots of space, and I'm sorry, they got one of the best smoking deck cigarettes.
They do.
They've like built a small house. I mean, it's a house.
It's a little hut.
It is. It's great. Got a great roof, great seating. I like that place.
It does.
It's good to hear it.
And it's very homey too.
It is. And
And-
downtown.
Nice, good drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like that too.
And you can actually park without being 7 blocks away from, it's right on.
Right, yeah. Tejon Street, if you get up to Denver, Tejon Street's up at High Dive. So if you're up that way, up at Denver, they're playing up there. So High Dive's a good place if you're up in Denver. There's a lot of venues up in Denver.
Lots of venues up in Denver.
Mark's saying social insanity.
Social Insanity, hello.
Hello, Levi.
And yeah, getting to them, Friday night we got Pretty Vague, or I'm sorry, Peak 31 is happening on Friday night. We got No Amnesty.
Ooh.
We got the Roadside Therapy. I've never heard of them.
I've never seen them before.
And the Cramplers, the Cramplers. I can't even read my writing. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of these guys. They're new, but they're playing with No Amnesty. They're playing the 18th actually. So
Which is Friday.
yeah, get out and see them. But if they're with No Amnesty, that's going to be an awesome show.
Dude, Levi Matheson, No Amnesty is an awesome show.
And
I mean,
Matt,
he's a good time. The show itself is a good time.
Matt always puts on a great show.
Right?
So, yeah. And what I'm looking forward to, because I haven't seen them, it's going to be at Rocks. It's going to be Saturday. It's Palace of Poison.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I haven't seen them.
I have heard them, and they are awesome. So look them up.
From Rain? Do you know where they're from? Because I saw it coming up. Their name intrigues me.
I think they're from
Mark says
Denver.
DJ Bamp.
Nice.
And yeah, thank you, DJ Bam, we've been going back and forth with him, and he had a hot mess Wednesday today. And Mark was on his show yesterday, so yeah, it was pretty awesome. So he's been doing his thing, and it's been blowing up. And so support the scene. There's a lot of people with a lot of shows that we want to support every scene. We want to support everybody with their shows.
Even the metal shows, the rapper shows, the reggae shows, the comedy shows,
right.
the jam nights. All you gotta do is show your face once a week somewhere.
Right, or like we said, comment, buy some tickets, whatever. Comment that you're there. Do whatever you can. Comment, hey, this is great. Love to hear you, even if you haven't heard them. Like I said, we got a couple of them. So what have you got coming up?
What have I got coming up in my world?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've got a couple things coming up here in my world. But first, I got a little tale to tell.
Well, make it short.
Make it
No,
short. No, I'm allotted by contract.
He said little tell.
Minutes.
He said little tell.
So.
He said little tell.
Or they hold my union check. So.
This is Morty on the move. There ain't no fucking union
anyway,
here.
thank you. And again, I'd love to wish everybody in my great audience a fond and low. I'm so happy to be able to come to you this week from my wonderful town of Colorado Springs. For some reason tonight, I'm really looking forward to filling your mind full of senseless ramblings of my past week. How was everybody's weekend?
Woo!
We kind of know, woohoo, we kind of heard this out. Did you have a good weekend, everybody? I hope
Yes.
everybody had a good weekend. I hope you had all the best time legally possible and made a couple connections these last few days. For God's sakes, hopefully you caught a new band or two roaming along the front range, just positioned to burn your face off, and probably turned around afterwards and wiped your blood up with a fabulous brand new t-shirt and a freshly dropped CD just for you.
Somebody's been hanging in sunshine.
Yeah. I had a great weekend myself. I found myself getting an itch from sitting too long and decided to take a scenic road trip through a ground blizzard in the search of new music and to work on submitting my legacy of being more than a fan. Flying down the road with Frank Castle and a Dirty King's drummer, my White Missile Titan pickup became more than a vehicle. It became a time machine, driving me back to the scene long filled with metal lore and a crowd base long tempered with hard riffs and alcohol. Standing in front of the City Limits Bar in Dodge City, Kansas, it reminded me of what had come before, with infamous hardcore Dodge City bands like Host of Chaos and Crop that lived in my memory playing all over my old hometown. My head was swimming with what that scene had become with while I was gone. The cars pulled up, honestly, on a dreadful winter night, and very quickly told me that I had what I had in store for my senses. Dodge City had come to see a show, no matter what. And I realized it right then, to see it, that I needed to go see what was up. Funny how life shows you what you are in a different place at a different time. I am a product of that environment and stepped into it like it was yesterday. The crowd was pumped, and the booze flowed like mercury under a blowtorch as I adjusted to some bands. And as I adjusted to see some bands take the stage and show this vacationer how it was done in hardcore land, I wasn't disappointed. First off, the fans in Kansas are intense, passionate, and genuine.
It's because they have
They're
so
desperate.
much crops.
Right.
They have nothing better to do.
I met singers, drummers, dreamers, and partiers, and proceeded to get trashed amongst them as I videotaped my way into oblivion. I'll never be able to thank my friends and the dishonorable bastards enough for holding on and playing all these years until I finally was able to find them and share them. Mike, Justice, Tom, Steve, Damien, Mallory, Hugo, Jim, Bryce, Pete, Gator, and anybody I missed. Your scene is hardcore, and thank you for letting this old bastard come back in and playing it, getting me home safe, and letting me be more than a fan.
Sweet, thank you.
Now, on for the next thing, I'd just like to look back. We've covered quite a bit of what went on last week. I just got a little bit more ramblings here. Are you ready for my woes? The woes of being a fan.
I thought it was the woes of Kansas.
Well, no, I honestly did.
I think we all have those.
I had a good time there, man. Those guys are great. Whew, wow. The woes of being a fan. We can't be everywhere all the time for every show with all our friends, and it can be a bummer. I missed one from none in Elevated Sickness. I missed the start of Brockfest. I missed the end of round one of Brockfest and saw Fall from Silence take the next round advancement. I missed a lot, but I am lucky that I am not alone in the task of following everything. There are other soldiers on the ground that are loving, loving, and sharing my great scene. With the help of the Barons family, Penny Wilson, Bill McCandless, Bella and Johnny Guerrero, Jennifer Clark, sorry if I messed your guys' name up, Bella, and many, many others, I'm able to get out and about and come back and get totally caught up on what I missed in my town. A lot of people deserve more than a shout out, and I know it. And in these coming weeks, I'll be bringing some great fans on the show to enjoy some camaraderie and maybe give them a chance to enjoy some of the love that has been thrown at me, and for a bit, be more than a fan. Future shows, head cases, headbangers showcases, we'll mix them up, minute and a half. You want to know a dirty little secret? And you want to promise not to tell anybody? Well, and I was going to say, and you promise not to tell anybody that matters or hold it against me.
It depends because you're online.
Yeah.
It depends what you're doing.
You're subject to everybody's abuse.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I've never seen corrosion of conformity.
Really?
No.
That is a dirty secret.
I only bring this up because they're going to be at the Gothic next week. And I want to know how many people I know that will be there for me to share this experience. I will be better able to serve you musicians as I keep working on my core band list and fill the holes that I am missing. I'm hoping if I see enough, I can finally tell someone they stink and mean it. But until then, I am still in need of a few more hardcore bands. Hope to see you all there. How about the Rocks on Saturday? New band for me. Palace of Poison sounds almost too good to pass up. With a name like that, the new floor is in. It's looking pretty cool. And Kyle Wayne and Tony Scholes would love to come say hi as you come over and listen to some of their good music, have their good foods with friends, and have a good time. And finally, and with that, I end another week with being more than a fan. I hope you miss me entirely tonight, as you said fuck it and went to rock out at Disturbed at Denver, sponsored by 94 Key. I've been encouraged to find a cool catchphrase, and this week I'll try an old one from a very old friend of mine. Duncan, it is time to chow book, and I will see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yay!
Clap for myself.
You can tell when he gets into it. He all starts standing up. He
That's
sits
what
down.
I'm
He
saying.
stands up. He's like, "Damn, he's into what he wrote."
That's what I'm
Right?
saying. Well,
We have a special guest.
Special
Just came
guest.
in.
he snuck in on us. Very happy to see you.
So, welcome, Charlie. Milo. Is it Milo? Milo?
It's Milo.
Milo.
Alright, I thought it would be cool.
Charlie Molo.
Yay! Now, is it trio? Is it duo? What is it?
It's whatever. It's whoever's available. It's.
Are you farting?
Did I just? I think it might be this couch.
Are you blaming it on the couch? I just wiped it down because I had to wipe down the chair and everything.
No, I think it's just, I think we just got a noisy couch.
Hey,
It's
somebody.
like a guest guy, sit in front.
No, I gotta.
Oh, okay. Sweet, we can squeeze the pig. Okay.
He actually just got done with a studio session. He was piled in the back of the truck with a bunch of other little, literally bells and whistles and dog toys and stuff like that. And we were over at Adam Hawkins's studio recording some stuff.
Awesome.
So I didn't answer your question. Ideally, it's trio. The trio situation is my favorite format to work with, especially it's for the last 4 years. It's been me and Mike on keyboards and some drummer.
And some drummer.
Some drummer. They explode like Spinal Tap, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing with drummers, isn't it? Right?
Right.
Okay.
And so this year I'm going to try things a little bit differently. I'm not going to be hitting the trio so hard with the gigging because I figured it's less fun trying to convince people that what we're doing is good, and I'm just going to try and adjust a little bit and give something that's a little bit more socially acceptable and fit for other human beings. So with that being said, the two things that I'm going to try is Barely Garcia, which I couldn't believe that band name wasn't taken, so that's going to be the Grateful Dead cover band that we're going to do.
I'm really surprised it wasn't taken, actually.
It's Google. It was Google proof until now, so copyright Milo or whatever you say. And so we've had 3 rehearsals with that, and the idea with that is that I've just hit up about 20 drummers around town, said, hey, do you want to be on the call list for a Grateful Dead band? No rehearsal, because part of the fun of Grateful Dead music is there's got to be at least one person who's maybe not completely privy to what's going on, maybe gets hung out to dry a few times, and that I think that adds to the magic, you know.
Right? They're not all the way there. There's
You know, I figure if you can't do it with heroin, then you might as well do it with just not knowing the songs.
There you go. You just
So no,
punch it in.
but you know, if somebody steps forward and is like, man, I just love the Grateful Dead and I want to be in a full-time Grateful Dead band, then you know we would look at that person. And then the other one that we're doing is called Hamster Style, which was also not taken.
Okay,
I
that
believe.
just sends like total all this stuff in my mind. But
See, and that's the thing.
Okay.
I
I would have
yeah.
to come see that.
No, the
Only because of the name.
The name. Well, see, what's funny is there's no sexual connotation. So when a turntablist or DJ is scratching records, the traditional style of scratching is you've got, you know, phonograph 1 going into phonograph input 1 on the back of the mixer, and you're cutting from side 2 to side 1, so it's like, you know, on off or off on whatever.
Okay.
Hamster style is when you put it in phono 2 and you're cutting from 1 to 2, and so you're pushing both out like that. And that's what hamster style is.
Wow.
But
And
just because of the name.
Right. And so that's going to be that's a quartet made up of Chris Combs on drums, Eric Blackmore of Collective Groove, and the Black Rose Band on guitar, and then once again Michael Hawkins on keyboards and myself on bass. So those are the trio, Barely Garcia and Hamster Style.
So you got a lot of stuff going on, and you got your podcast and.
Yep, yeah, the Charlie Milo program. We hit 50 at the end of last year, and that was sort of my goal for last year. Was, well, let's just see if I can get 50 hour-long ramblings out there. It started out as just me just talking for an hour and then putting that out there, and then I think my first guest was the last like solid drummer for the trio, which was Dan Kusan. He was the first guest, and I was like, man, this is so much easier to fill an hour with more than one person talking.
It is.
And he's so interesting anyhow. And so and thirdly, it's almost sort of like a form of free therapy, which makes me wonder how much of the therapy is just the form of like long form talking. You know, it's sort of like you exhaust your brain and your
Just
your
pouring out
gams.
expression.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Okay.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So yeah, and the podcast, and then I just hit 200 subscribers on YouTube, so I'm going to be getting together with no, they're just the addicts. So the ADDICKS, they like do Comic-Con type stuff and video games and stuff like that. But they shot our music video for Have Another Drink on Me that we filmed at the Mariner over in Manitou, and Chase Sexton is their primary videographer, and he's helped us with a lot of just sort of, you know, stock shooting and stuff like that. But I'm probably going to either tap him or Chris Combs, who's starting to get his own production company together to do like some sort of goofy, like, thanks for 200. Like when I hit 100, I went to what's the barber shop? The real fancy, like Lincoln Street Barbers. I went to them and they gave me the whole hot towel thing and gave me a nice handlebar mustache. But basically, he filmed them shaving me, so it was sort of like a cross promotional kind of thing. Which is funny because I walked in there ready to be like talkative podcast guy, and he put the hot rag on me, and I was just like,
okay, good night.
Oh.
So the podcast is over now.
Right. Just good night.
Now, a quick question here before you speak very well. You're very outgoing. And then you have, with all your three bands, your podcast, you have another life that runs underneath that full-time job, all this other stuff? Or
I teach lessons and I do studio work, and this year, since I've taken probably the biggest hit in students that I've had in the past 5 years.
You teach music too?
Yeah, I teach all levels of bass, and I teach, I'd say like beginner to like medium on drums, and then I teach beginning guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
So somebody like me could go in there and go, hey, Joe, what do you charge me? I need beginning guitar.
Yeah.
I can't carry two.
And the deal I make to not upset, you know, the thousands of other guitar teachers in town is that if anybody comes in and is a better player on guitar than I am, I'll just send them on up to
the next week.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Right?
you know, that's cool.
Well, because I talked to, you know, a couple of people gave me shit about the guitar, and you know, that's not to say that I'm god awful or anything like that, but you know, there's tons of proficient guitar players in town, and one of them was like, well, isn't that kind of like taking money out of our pocket? And I was like, well, you could look at it like that, and I guess I couldn't hold it against you if you did, but I kind of look at it like I'm like preliminary. I'm like getting them ready to like.
If you're
send
just
up to
learning, you don't know shit anyways. So.
Right. Well, and you don't want to send a guppy to the shark show or something like that, you know, and just have
like you want to learn hot cross buns before you go out and learn.
Hot for teacher.
Right. You're gonna be like, I just want to learn those.
Well, and I've seen it happen more than once or twice where somebody comes in and they're completely ready to learn, and then they find out, you know, the steps involved to getting where they want to be, and without the right teacher to nurture them through the beginning process, they kind of fizzle out and potentially give up, you know. And that's.
Or do you read music?
I write a lot more quickly than I read. Like I can like play it and write it out, but if you hand it to me, then I'm one of those guys that says like, give me 5 minutes, and then you know.
Well, see, and a lot of the teachers can't.
I guess I can read like slowly. Like I don't like if you hand me sheet music, I'll know the rhythms right away, but it'll take me a minute to get it completely memorized and on my fingers. Yeah, totally.
Okay, so that's something that you got going for you.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people that teach. You know, everybody does their own thing.
Mm-hmm. I try and cater to what the student wants to learn. Like I had one student that started with bass, and then we kind of just it sort of just became like composition lessons because he wanted to write, you know, like laptop, like club music and stuff like that. And so I was able to show him how to, you know, I mean, he had a great ear, but you know, he was more curious about chords, and I was able to sort of show him how to like build triads and, you know, major all the sevens and stuff like that.
You kind of knew what he needed. You were the bridge to get him there.
Well, yeah. Well, he had it in his head, but he just wanted to sort of get rid of that guesswork. You know, kind of like when you learn all the open chords on guitar, and you're like, all right, it's time for me to learn how to write a song. All right, I start with C. what next? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, a lot of composing that I've been doing lately. Well, I mean, I there's like 3 modes. There's usually like I'm writing a song, I'm writing like a jazz head or solo vehicle or something like that, or I'm writing serious, like composition, and that's usually with the staffs and the violins and the, Chinese people yelling and all that stuff.
That's funny.
But
No, you're not the B student, you're A
Right.
student, right?
so what I've been doing to write songs, and I was just showing Mallory over there this before we got here. You can take some dice like from Dungeons and Dragons, and you can like roll for your tempo. You start from there, and then you roll some dice to get what key you're gonna play in. Roll if it's major or minor, and then from there you can. The original thing that I was gonna say was you can lift.
So he also teaches D&D.
Cool.
So we're just gonna say that.
I'm learning Dungeons and Dragons. Like I will never ever make fun of a nerd again after attempting how to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, good.
Because
Because
we're in Game of Thrones socks right now.
I have
so.
no. Oh no, I mean I was like a comic book, like I'm a comics
Me too.
nerd, and so like but I think the closest that I ever got to that realm was kind of like Magic the Gathering. Like I got like okay to play casual games at that, but Dungeons and Dragons, like I sat down with the paper and I was like, I feel like I need a little bit more high school for this.
I was the other way around. Magic the Gathering, I was like, I tried to play with my son, and I just let him win all the time.
Oh, really?
I was like, he's
Mark-
like, this trumps this, and I'm like, yeah,
Mark
whatever.
wants to know if you brought a guitar.
He did.
Mallory brought one.
Nice.
Who's-
What time is it?
How much time?
Mallory could play. She's a brilliant musician, and I could play.
I do have
could
to
also
ask you
play.
about the bear suit. Where does that come
We're
in?
doing great.
Trying to get people to pay attention.
Okay, because I did watch like one of your last podcasts, and you were doing something with Coke and butane fuel.
Oh, my son saw this this other YouTuber doing not bottle rockets, but Coca-Cola rockets in their backyard. And so what you do is you take like a 24-ounce Coca-Cola.
Don't do this at home, by the way, unless
Yes,
you
we are
have
not.
classes.
We are
I'm not telling you to do it.
You don't have to do it if you don't
Reflect.
want to, but you can pour some butane in the top there, and once it starts bubbling and starts to ice over a little bit, you turn it over and it shoots off.
Because I was like, why doesn't he just get a Mentos?
What's a Mentos?
Mentos.
Oh,
Mentos.
Mentos. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
just they put in the soda
know what I
pop
mean?
Mentos.
We had those off camera, and I was like, well, let's pick one or the other for this episode. And he was like, all right, I want to do the butane, my son. And I said, okay, let's do the butane. And then we had a couple of 1 liters off to the side. And what we did was we took all the Mentos. Or no, what do? You take the top off of the Mentos, and you drop the whole thing into the liter, and
Right.
you try to drink as much as you can before you
Were you
die
going-
I
of
would
bubbles.
not. I would not do that.
I don't drink soda except for like once every 6 months or so. So I mean, like when all that hit me, I actually even found out that the key for me to be able to drink energy drinks is I gotta like swirl them around until they flatten out a little bit, and then I can drink them. But I like those spikes though, mainly because there's like no sugar, no carbs, 300
Those things
milligrams
like
of
make
caffeine,
your like you feel like God, oh my God, I can
It'll-
rule the world.
It'll attach you to the end of the donkey.
Seriously, yeah, I got one for free, and then they were like, oh yeah, it's putting people on the hospital, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I wonder if they dialed down the original formula, because I remember it was in those little black cans and it said like
Right.
no 18 or 18 years or older.
Plus,
It had
no
like a label
condition.
warning this
Yeah.
long.
Right, and now they're in like a nice big red or blue can,
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it
Yeah, I
was.
love those things.
Yeah, that thing was too much for me, and I drink Red Bulls all the time.
See,
So
Red Bulls, I used to like them, but the sugar makes me crash, and then the sugar-free ones just taste really, really bad.
they do.
You know?
Actually, they do.
My opinion, anything sugar free is never. Man, Diet Coke, they can tell me it tastes like Oda. No, it doesn't.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, anything
So-
anything diet is like your friend that won't say the F word. They
Yeah,
just- they
it's
say
like, I know
frickin'
what
all
you
the
are.
time.
Just say it.
Or they mute
Say it.
themselves, and you're like,
Oh my god.
and you're like, what?
Mm.
And they're like, what? You know?
Mm.
And you're like, just fucking say it.
Yeah.
They mute themselves.
My,
Like rap,
my
that's-
son used to do it perfectly because he gets backslapped, you know.
Mhm.
But he was younger, you know, and he would do it like perfectly in a sentence, and I don't know how he did it, but it was awesome.
I used to try and do them backwards, like the rap songs, you know, like Cuff and Tish and Say and stuff like that.
Like Pigland.
And nobody knew what I was talking about. They thought I was like, you know, one of those.
Like a dart. I got it.
I got it.
That's funny.
Well, yeah, we don't have a guitar right here, but I feel like we could have a pig and horn duet.
Well, if she wants to play, or
Mallory, do you want to play a?
Can
Do you have
we
an
talk-
original
can
tune
we-
you want to
She's
play?
like-
Talk you into a song, you know?
she's over there like,
Pretty please.
this is crap. I wasn't ready for this.
I will even stand up
Yeah.
and I will shout. I'll rock
I
to it.
didn't know I was coming here. Like, I went to Charlie's.
We
and
didn't
he
know
was
either.
like,
So.
You gotta go to this podcast. And
It's
like,
okay, we'll
Twilight
totally
Zone,
cheer you
and
on.
We are
That's
so
okay.
unprepared tonight. I mean, we're just winging it because our leader's gone, so we're on mutiny.
Well, you know,
He's-
it
he's
happens.
in the poop, or he's
Yeah,
below deck.
he is pretty
He's
swell.
gotta get some, yeah, he's gotta get a procedure done, you know, and he's gotta drink that disgusting, nasty stuff. And they tell you it's okay.
The mic's
The
just
stuff
You
that
know.
like lights up when they X-ray it.
Yeah, so, and that's why we had that big thing about, you know, we're big on going to get checked and,
What's that?
wow, that's an awesome acoustic.
Isn't that nice?
That's shiny and, look at her, she's like, I'm so
And
nervous.
she
It's
is.
fog. Oh, I thought that was fog, but that's like sandblasted awesomeness.
It's got, like,
Look at that.
clouds and stars and palm trees and a mountain.
Wow.
This is Mallory Ferrero, by the way, everybody.
Mallory.
That's awesome,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you for coming right on.
Thanks for having me.
She's in a band called Phosphine Eyes. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah. So phosphines are anything that you see behind your eyelids that aren't stimulated by light.
The Squigglies.
Cool.
You're putting out
You learn something new every day.
And you belong to what band?
It's called phosphine.
I've seen your
eyes.
post. You got posts out.
I do.
And you guys got anything booked?
I do. Right now it's all in Manitou Springs.
That's fine. Where you guys?
Hey,
Where you guys
start
gonna be next?
somewhere.
Yeah, false for your eyes. I'm way ahead of the game, man.
Yeah,
I
there
already
you go.
like them. Right on. I'm cool, man.
I think my next show is at Kinfolk's in Manitou.
We've all been there.
I do have one.
We've,
the first.
we've all been there.
No, yeah, it's a pretty, it's a nice place because
It
it's
is.
all different people.
You know-
And we all went to the Royal afterwards. Closed it.
I haven't been there.
Kin-
Everybody,
Kinfolk's
everybody
is-
but me has been
If you've
there.
been to the Ancient Mariner, it's just right next
Done
door.
them all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Kinfolks is great, but and Gary and Susan have done a great job. But man, I remember when you could go in there and, with your dog and get a beer and get your bike fixed.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, it was
one of those.
it's
Yeah.
kind of one of those, yeah.
In Denver.
So I definitely need to tone it down a little bit before I go in there, you know, not going in like
Yeah,
one of my
try not to
usual Thrasher
lip
concert
yourself.
deals.
Oh, sorry.
So, you
Well,
know,
they kind of accept everybody. They're like, whatever, you know, don't shave your pits, it's cool.
Personally, I go to a lot of shows and I like variety. You know what I mean? I like variety. Yeah, I love the heavy metal shows. I'm always
I
going to
haven't
be a
seen so
metal
many
fan.
variety shows.
But I really love variety. I like to go listen to some country, some blues. You know what I mean?
I do too.
I really love
Oh,
variety.
I'm also, I forgot to mention, I'm also, they officially, I think, hired me on to the Brian Grace band for their country cover band. So,
really?
Sweet.
yeah.
I
Forgot about
don't know
that.
who is.
Yeah, Brian and JC and Beth
Yeah.
and Doug and all them.
So whatever you want to do, just tell us, let us know. However you want to do it, you just got to kind of talk a little bit louder.
And I will listen to you going on.
You got that
Right.
Mozart ready to
Oh
go?
my god, no.
Nice,
Most
nice.
of my songs that I've written on guitar are kind of folky. because I'm more limited on my guitar than I am with my voice. So, I've got one, let's see, the first one that comes to mind, it's called Heart of Stone. One more time to see the full moon rise. One more time to tell me the only way. Fire your guns and wait to see what happens. People who are gone wander around our yard. Heart of stone, break it down, warm it up, hearts are alone. Don't feel the way that others Close your eyes, what do you see? The light or darkness? Something haunting that wears you down or is. Every cloud you see, is there a silver lining? Is your view disturbed by what you do? Heart of stone, break it down, warm it up, hearts are alone. Don't feel the way that others And all the lines you wrote are fading, so keep them with you in your pocket. One more time to see your full moon rise. One more time you tell me the only way is to fire your guns and wait to see what happens. People who are gone, no one around now gone.
That's
You,
beautiful.
I mean,
I like that.
You have like a velvet voice. That's
Now-
all I can say.
Can I say something too? We were looking at the clock here, and it wasn't because we're in a hurry. It's because we want to make sure we get that on film. That was awesome.
But no,
So-
that is.
And we have time for one. If you, we
You
have
might
another
find
one
one.
if you'd
But
like.
you see, you seriously have a. That's all I can say is a velvet.
Thank you.
It's beautiful, and you play beautifully. I mean, I'm not a real folk music lover, and I'm gonna be honest, but you have like the mamas and papas type, like that energy.
Or an Alice Sings Rocks, or
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could really like.
Yeah, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, so that's my big secret about that.
But
I went to school for it and everything, and I just Appalachian music was always some of my favorite. So
wow.
but it's awesome. That was beautiful, and a beautiful guitar to match too.
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you.
Well, you're in a hole. She's good.
So when is
Yeah,
your next?
I can't follow that.
Yeah.
I'll do like, this is in public domain, so it's half cover, half original. Ain't gonna work on a railroad, ain't gonna work on a farm. Lay around the shack till that mail train gets back, rolling my sweet baby's arms. rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Y'all know this one. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Wanna lay around the shack till that mail train gets back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Know your parents don't like me, threw me out from your door. If I had my life to live over again, ain't going back there no more. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Till the mail train gets back, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. We'll borrow a little bit from the Monroe Brothers for this next one. Now, darling, you can't love one. Darling, you can't love but one. You can't love one and have any fun. Oh, darling, you can't love one. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. We'll lay around the shack till that mail train gets back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Lay around the shack till that mail train gets back. Be rolling in my sweet baby's arms.
Nice.
That was excellent.
So what is your next performance that we're going to be able to look for?
Well, we're out of town this weekend. We're doing a private gig in Durango on Friday, and then Kips in Pagosa Springs on Saturday. Which, if you ever,
It's pretty up there.
yeah, if you guys ever want to drive 5 hours and play on a stage that's about the size of this carpet to the most receptive and warm and loving group of people that you've
Some of
ever
those are so fun though.
Oh, I love.
Like road trip,
I
and you just kind of call it and
think
go for it.
I feel as though this will be our like 7th year driving down there and playing Kips. You know, at least once every 3 months or so.
Yeah, all my relatives live in Pagosa Springs.
Isn't it the best?
It's alright.
Yeah.
All my relatives
He's
live
like,
there.
"It's my family."
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
sure,
alright.
sure.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
alright.
citizens of Pagosa Springs.
I feel like I'm one more like bad social incident away from moving to Pagosa Springs or sort of Crested Butte or something like that.
Right.
Right? Yeah, people keep moving in, and you're just like, okay, right?
Oh, people do keep moving in. You know, you see a lot. I don't mean to offend anybody out there, but you see more and more Texas license plates.
More and more California, more and more. We're full, by the way.
We're full.
Cool.
Well,
Legalize pot in your own
tourists are
state.
welcome. But yeah, we love the tourists, but you
And
know,
I'm a
we're home after
transplant,
that.
but I've been here almost 20 years, so
Yeah,
I'm saying
see,
we're
that's-
full.
Yeah,
You know,
I've been here probably about 21 years. We moved here from the family from Tucson, Arizona in '97, and my dad was like, "Oh, get ready, you're gonna see snow for the first time." And then the blizzard of '97 happened, and it was like,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that well. I was pregnant with my first child. And
"Oh man."
yeah,
I bet,
they're like,
I bet you were just like,
the Humvee is gonna have to come get you, so don't go into labor. I'm like, okay, sure, I will suck that back up.
just do it right in the snow like the Eskimos.
we'll just do what the movies do.
Right.
Some hot water and a towel. Man.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Oh yeah,
Big
I was
deal.
just gonna knock that one out. And so, where are we gonna be able to look for you?
Oh, I want to say I'm playing the Kinfolks on the 27th, but
This
I'm
month?
mostly.
Oh.
I'm on your page. I'll let you know here.
So go to her page. You have a page.
Go to her page. Go to
Phosphinize,
and give it a like.
PHPH.
So it starts with a PH.
And you'll be surprised, like Bella likes it, Bunny. There's a lot of us that are starting to figure it out already. I got an invite, and that's how I got to click on it. So,
So
and if I remember who sent it to me, thank you, because I didn't
With
know
a
that's what the
PH.
music sounded like, and I was like, right on.
A double PH.
a double PH. A
Yeah.
double PH.
No, it's it's Phos and then PH Fiend, right? Or is that the F?
PHENE, yeah, that's the.
Okay. Oh, there is an F.
No, like the PH is the.
Is the F sound?
Yes. That's what I'm telling you. With the PH.
I like Fat Farm, right?
Yep.
Okay. And
then
that'll be
I-
that'll be at Kinfolks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot to mention
I need to
either
tell
Michael
Foss.
and myself or Michael and myself and a drummer will be at Stagecoach on the 26th.
And as a fan of Phosphine Eyes already, you need to put your new event coming on there, so I know to come or I'll forget. I'm old and I drink a lot. So
I'm old and I drink a lot. At least he's
You
honest.
guys can put that on there so I can stay
Well,
interested, so
you know-
Facebook will tell me what my life's doing.
Yeah,
Being
you
a
are.
musician-
You guys are hitting it. So yeah, put all your events up and.
Being a musician's, it's hard. There's a lot that goes into the day. You got to wake up around 11, and then you got to be creative for an hour. You just got to feel creative for an hour, and then it's time for lunch. And so then you got to figure out what you're going to eat for about probably another hour or so. Then you order from the Chinese food or the pizza place, and that takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to get there.
Right.
And then you got to eat it. That takes about an hour, and then you got to digest. That's another. And then by that time, everybody's pretty much ready to go home. So
You've
it's
peaked them.
there's a lot that goes into being a musician.
Peak times 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or afterwards.
Yeah, we don't like to give out the schedule to just anybody.
I will never
That's
figure out a
secret.
musician's schedule, man.
I've got probably the most retarded schedule right now. I myself have been waking up at 6 in the morning, and then I do goals and coffee for 15 minutes, and then I write just like words, not music or anything. I just write for half an hour, and then I work on digital music for a half an hour, and then it's time to go for my mall walk, and then I come home and I do
You're a mall walker.
yeah,
Okay.
and then I come home and I do solfege vocal warm-ups for a half hour, and then if I get around to it, I play the acoustic guitar, and then from there, it's a half-hour nap, 4 hours awake, half-hour nap, 4 hours awake, half-hour nap, and then when I get to the end, or 5 hours awake, excuse me, and then I get to the end of the day at 2 a.m. and I have a 4-hour core sleep from 2 to 6.
Wow.
So he has like a schedule written down. So do you have a
Did
child?
everybody get that?
What's that?
You have a child. That's why he has a schedule written down. Of his
Well, I get him mostly in the summer, and we kind of throw the schedule out, and I let him do whatever he wants because I only get him in the summer. So.
Well, you guys are busy, and right on. I'm glad you guys stopped by here.
Trying to be.
So,
Thank you guys for having me.
well, it's
Yeah, and we'll
it's
share it. That was awesome, and thank you.
for bringing that kind of music to Morty on the Move, so I can show my kind of people, because all music's beautiful, and I always sit here and say I got caught in a rut, and I'm happy to be breaking out of it. And a lot of this music, my dad, if you're watching, thank you for training me when I grew up with Tony Rise and all those guys, so I knew what I was listening to in the folk music.
There's a great, the popular version is, I think it's John Anderson, but Billy Joe Shaver wrote it, and it's called "I'm Just an Old Chunk of Coal, but I'm Gonna Be a Diamond Someday."
Well, have you ever
It's never
noticed
too
like
late.
all this old stuff is coming back? Even
In
from
the
the
worst way,
clothes?
if I can say.
Yes, okay, yes. Sometimes in the worst way, but like from the clothes to everything, like even like my daughter's like, oh, look at this retro phone, it's
Yeah,
new,
you're-
and I'm like,
you're-
all right, okay.
You're in Manitou trying to enjoy yourself, and all of a sudden, fucking come on, Eileen comes walking down the street.
Right?
No,
Right.
cross the road, cross the road. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're like, I mean, yeah, my kids are older, so yeah, they're like, oh, check this out, it's new, and I'm like, oh no, it's not.
Have you guys heard of Tekashi 6ix9ine? I know I'm throwing my I'm older than 30 card out there now, but have you heard this fucking shit?
Okay.
It's Tekashi. He's got like 6ix9ine tattooed on his forehead.
Oh, the clown dude?
And he's got
Yeah,
the
the clown dude.
purple
Yeah,
hair,
I know
yeah,
what you're
red,
talking about.
and he's got the grill and stuff. And he's not black, and he just lets that N-word fly in like all of his courses, and he's just got all the subscribers and all the followers and the millions of views, and I think he's in court for molesting right now. What's with
I don't know.
artists that need to it's like, man, I can't write a hit song unless I go out and piss on a 15-year-old girl,
R. Kelly.
Right? Save us from golden showers.
I hear you.
know.
Mark's
but-
saying you guys have really good voices.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting on the shitter watching.
Well, and I'm going to say we've only got like a minute and a half left. So I
But-
think how we need to end this show.
Is a duet?
We didn't know how to do the stereo. I couldn't figure out how to turn it on. So I think we also.
I just don't like buttons. I'm
Me
gonna
neither.
honestly
the
say.
PA system.
I just think we ought to look at the camera and go like it, love it, share it, and call it a good
See,
evening.
that's
Well,
what-
I am gonna say that next week we have Blind Monkey.
Yes.
So
That's
That's
not.
the 23rd.
Who all's that? Blind Monkey.
It's Dick Sedal, and he's the drummer, and then there's
Is
a
that
couple other
Benita, the
ones.
blind lady?
It's what?
No, it's you when you take your glasses off.
Blah. All right, this is me at the pool. All right, let's have a ball.
Hey, you know what? I have the same issues. My kids are like, "You're going blind, mom," and I'm like, "You know what? It's okay. It's
I
okay."
was just gonna say it's fine.
Everybody thinks I'm blind because I wear these dark shades all the
But I pull it.
time.
I
I get the
I pull it cool.
Slide
I'm
over.
like, "Hey, I got the blocks, but not the guns." You know, it's just glaucoma.
But I think it's Blind Monkey. But there's and I hope I'm not just BSing, but there's a band out there who's got a fantastic singer who's blind, and her name is Benita Page, and she's they do covers and originals and stuff like that. I think.
Are they
Blind
local,
Monkey, I
or-
believe, is
Yes.
They're local?
yes. I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember. But Blind Monkeys,
Okay,
I believe,
It's
all
if it's
guys.
not if
Blind
it's not
monkeys, all guys.
Oh.
Yes, they
Then
are
it's
all
on the
men.
other night.
it's blind.
They do.
All gentlemen, I should think.
It's a blind
Right.
the Benita
It's
band is.
blind other gentlemen, but they
Yeah.
do a wonderful job, and they actually rock the stage.
Okay, guys.
And, so we will see them next week.
Yes,
And-
and the boss is running over the limit. We gotta go, everybody, or this magical thing happens where we like evaporate or something. We'll go over there. So, we will see
thank
you all
you.
next week.
We'll see, and Mark will be here. So like it, love it,
And
share it.
like it, love it, and share it. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty. Thank you,
Later.
our guests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank
With your
you.
beautiful voice.
I'll get up and do that.
And we are out.